Soweto Taxi Association chairperson has been shot and killed. That's along the Soweto Highway this morning. Eyewitnesses say the suspects were traveling in a Toyota minibus taxi and a Toyota Yaris when they opened fire, fatally wounding the victim. Police have confirmed that the taxi task team will take over the investigation if the incident is linked to the ongoing taxi violence. The motive behind the killing remains unknown at this stage.
The information that we received is that the victim, who was driving a Toyota Hilux grey in color, who's the chairman of a local taxi association, was driving in this road coming from Soweto towards town when he was intercepted by the suspects who are driving in two vehicles. We understand that the suspects were driving a Toyota minibus taxi as well as a grey Toyota Yaris. So they stopped the victim and they fired several shots at him, and he was then certified here at the scene. For now, we cannot confirm the motive behind this shooting or killing, but we suspect that it is related to the ongoing taxi violence. The information that we received is that the victim is a 50-year-old man who is the chairman of the local taxi association. We cannot confirm that it's related to taxi violence, but we suspect that it is related to taxi violence, taking into account that the victim is the chairman of the taxi association. As the police, we've got a taxi violence task team that is investigating cases that are related to taxi violence. For now, this case, as soon as it is confirmed that it's related to taxi violence, it will be taken by that task team that will start with the investigation.
For some reaction, let's bring in Dr. Mathetha Mokonyama, who leads the Transport Systems and Operations Impact Area at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Transport Systems and Operations Area. Very good evening to you. Thank you so much for your time. I mean, what we're hearing from police in the wake of this attack is that they suspect it is related to the ongoing taxi violence. What is your reaction? Because this happens in a city where turf wars claim lives very often.
Good evening, Mpo, and condolences to the family of Mr. Moyo. It could be any number of things that resulted in this. If it's related to the business of minibus taxi operations, it could be fights over routes. It could be that some associations are poaching members from other associations, or any other reason that creates conflict between different operators, associations, and the taxi industry. It generates about a billion rand a day. So it's a massive cash-based business. And with cash, you can imagine there are all sorts of other things, nefarious things that could be happening. If you're not able to monitor, track, where this cash is coming from, where it is going, anything can happen.
How do you assess the current state of the taxi industry regulation in South Africa? As you talk about large amounts of cash, 1 billion rand a day is an enormous amount of money.
Absolutely. I mean, the regulations that we have at the moment were essentially formulated in the late 70s. That's when government wanted to protect, railways. They didn't want, passengers to move away from railways, to road, and also to protect, buses that were subsidized. So they created, this permit system at the time to limit the number of, taxis that would be on the road. but then the numbers increased over time and became unmanageable. In Cape Town at the moment, you're talking about 17,000 or so, operating licenses. So a city like Cape Town has got many, many licenses that the city has to deal with, and many more in the likes of the city of Johannesburg and others. So it's becoming unmanageable. So what really needs to happen is to treat this as a network industry and not a set of individual routes. So you want to have an area and license a business, an association to operate in an area, and they need to then innovate how they are going to be servicing that area. And of course, as part of the conditions of giving that operating license is you specify what quality would need to be delivered by the business that is licensed to operate in a specific area.
A decade ago, we know that the Nzebeza Commission recommended stronger regulation of taxi routes and permits. But, there's been a lot of criticism around that. Critics say little has changed. From your perspective, why has implementation been so slow?
Well, it boils down to how much we value life. It's really about how much we value life. We've got about 55 million public transport trips that take place on a daily basis. And we've got very little on aviation. But if you look at the way we treat people using aeroplanes, aviation, the regulation, the safety precautions, the training that is required is much, much more. But if you look at what we do with just ordinary, public transport, services, the ordinary people using, public transport services, very little controls are being put in place to manage, safety, security, and overall quality of service. If you look at how an operator typically applies for an operating license, they have a form where they fill in, using a pen and paper, what route they want to be operating on. They don't know some of the road names, they've changed, they misspell some of these things, and that needs to be processed. The municipalities, provinces don't have appropriate tools, to process these things. So it's all manual, and you can imagine with manual system, you'll be prone to all sorts of things, corrupt activities included.
Very well. Thank you so much for speaking to us this evening. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Dr. Mathetha Mokonyama there, who leads the Transport System and Operations Impact Area at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, Transport Systems and Operations Area, giving us some reactions to the killing there of a Santako chairperson in Soweto.